Here is an excellent brand new custom cue that just came into the inventory here at Crossroad Cues. We are very, very excited about this cue right here, and we do not expect it to last very long. This is definitely one that if you don't buy it right away, she can stay. I love this cue maker's work. I love the look, the feel, and the playability. This is a Gabe Owen, fresh off the lathe. I want to first thank Gabe for our friendship and for making us this beautiful custom cue. Gabe Owen, of course, is a legendary pool player, as most of you that follow the sport will know, or if you're just a collector. He is a two-time U.S. Open champion. Two-time U.S. Open. He won the U.S. Open 9-ball, I believe, in 04. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's the right year. And then he won the U.S. Open 8-ball. Don't quote me on those years, but I know for a fact that he's a two-time U.S. Open champion. What relevance does that have to cue making? Well, it has a lot, because you want people making your cues that are not just making them for show. You want them to go. You want people that understand what the hit, the balance, the playability is supposed to be like, and that's how Gabe builds his cues. So I can't say enough about his pool playing ability. That's stating the obvious, but as far as his cue making ability goes, Gabe has been working with his father. His father is obviously a master level, world famous cue maker, Bob Owen of Owen Cues in the Wichita, Kansas area. Gabe and Bob have been building together now for a number of years. I know over 10 or 12 years that Gabe has been working with his father, and it is obvious that the apple does not fall far from the tree. Everything that comes out of their shop, the fit, the finish, the point work, the veneers, the ring work, top notch work. I mean, top notch. I don't believe there's a such thing as perfection when it comes to cue making, because everything man-made can and will fail. That's the old rule of thumb. But there are certain cue makers that just pay very close attention to detail. They don't rush to make cues. They're not in a hurry to get them out of the shop. They want to put out the best product that they can put out, and that is what I can tell you for sure is the case with these Owen Cues. So this one right here has got the Owen Cues logo at the bottom. These are Amboyna Burl points. Really nice quality Amboyna Burl. You can see it here as I'm trying to pick it up on camera. Great looking Amboyna Burl. And then these are actually bridged points. That takes a lot of work. Any of you cue makers that follow my page can attest to that. It just gives it that extra touch. So what Gabe did, which is really cool, he actually did Amboyna Burl points with Amboyna Burl veneers. Again, something that takes a lot of work. Nice looking long points. You've got 4 points on this, bridged points. He accents the points with triple copper rings. I love it. As a matter of fact, the next time he builds me a personal cue, and I do play with various different cues. Gabe Owen is one of the cue makers that I choose to play with his cues because I think that much of the product. But triple copper rings above the wrap and below the wrap, which is really nice. You've got some stitch rings below the joint that are also bordered in the copper, so double copper, and then triple above the wrap. That is by far one of my favorite wraps. Now I like Lizard, I like the double E, but this Spanish Bull is something really special. I love the texture of it. Any of you that have played with it before can attest that it's got a great grip. You know, your hand doesn't slip. And it's got a really nice kind of a soft leather feel to it. This one is a brown Spanish Bull wrap. Owen loves to use those on his cues, and you can see why. Perfect grip. And you know what's nice about Spanish Bull? You can play with it, and it just seems to last forever. You know, it even kind of breaks in and it'll get a little bit more worn looking, which is cool. It gives it that vintage look to it. So this is African Blackwood, by the way, on the forearm. Kind of looks like ebony, but that's actually African Blackwood. That's African Blackwood in the butt of the cue as well. The joint is Amboyna Burl. He does core his cues. This is a 14-ounce butt. So for those of you, by the way, this is standard size Q too. So 29 on the butt, 29 on the shafts. For those of you that like a lighter weighted Q, this is a 14-ounce butt. The shafts come up. One of them is a little below 4 than the Q wood is 4. So right about an 18-ounce Q. And I talked to Gabe. Gabe said you could add weight to this butt. That's the way they're set up. So if you wanted to add an ounce or even 2, you could do that if you wanted to. But for those of you that like the lighter weight butt, this is a perfect cue for you. Amboyna Burl joint, 3/8 11 Southwest style big pin, as we like to call it. That's a G10 pin. The reason that they do that is to make sure that the cue is not too forward weighted. Okay, so nice slightly forward weighted balance is what you want. This is a pretty even balanced cue right now with just a little bit of forward weight. There's your balance point right there, as it should be. But if the cue maker does a brass pin with an African Blackwood or an ebony up front, it can tend to be too heavy. So this one has been made to close to perfection, like we like to say. It is signed by Gabe Owen in one of the points subtly, so you can barely see it. Made 2023. It has the Owen Cues logo. That is an Amboyna Burl on the butt right there. Amboyna Burl butt cap. And then you've got, of course, like we mentioned before, the triple copper rings, which is really cool. And then into the bottom of the cue right there, he finishes it off with them as well. You've got a maple shaft here that came up 13 millimeters. And then you have the dark roasted keel wood. This is another thing that they really excel at that shop. One of my personal playing cues is an Owen cue, and it does have the dark roasted, actually it's got a lighter roasted keel wood. This is my preference. I love the darker roasted keel wood. That's a 12.75, so 12.75 on the keel wood and the 13 millimeter on the maple. That's the way that Gabe likes his cues. So again, when you're dealing with a really good cue maker that's a really good player, they tend to make their cues to their preference because they know that that's what helps them to play good. Gabe's told me before that he likes to warm up with the keel wood. He gets his stroke working good, then he goes over to the maple shaft. So there you go. Beautiful cue right here. We could easily be priced a lot higher on this cue. This cue is going to go for just a touch below $2,000 plus shipping. That is a one-of-a-kind custom cue available exclusively here at Crossroad Cues. It's available for immediate shipping out of our Indiana location. We do ship cues out daily, depending on the time of day that you buy the cue or the next business morning. Please check out our website, crossroadcues.com, or you can check out our Facebook page, Crossroad Cues Gallery. Gabe Owen, custom cue at Crossroad Cues. Thanks for taking a look.